So I was in this mood thinking about this like fucking shit where I was like, oh, cool, like futuristic stuff and all that and deep shit and like, oh, sci-fi deep shit. But then I got off the plane and my opener, who sits all the way in the back because he sits coach, fucking, because that's what he deserves, I make him do it. And he was like, hey, man, I saw Jumanji. And I was like, oh, yeah? He said, yeah, it's fucking funny. I was like, oh, yeah? He said, yeah, Kevin Hart's funny, and The Rock's really good at doing those movies. And he's a great movie star, huh? And I was like, yeah, dude, and I'm still in my fucking dystopian universe shit, thinking about like, robots and how we can connect with, how machines will take over humans. And this guy's up here talking about how, oh yeah, it's cool because The Rock was, they enter this video game and The Rock was like this little bitch ass and Kevin Hart was like the strong one. And then they had to reverse roles and the girl was a guy and Jack Black was a girl and now he's Jack Black and this and that. And he got all these big ass rhinos. And I'm like, hey dude, you got to slow the fuck down. When two people are in two different moods and they just don't meet and you just can't do it. And you're like, and I was getting pissed off for no reason. But this guy's talking to me about Jumanji for way too long. During the whole walk to baggage claim, he's talking to me about Jumanji and how good it is. Now, here's the other thing. I might watch Jumanji, and I think Kevin Hart is great, and I think The Rock is great. I love Jack Black, and that other girl looks like she's funny. But like, at this moment in time, I'm thinking about robots taking over the world, and this guy's trying to talk to me about how good Jumanji was, and I'm like, I'm like, bro, you got to stop. I said, you got to stop talking about Jumanji. But then I realized I've done that. And it's just about moods that they're like two ships passing each other in the night, man. Right? Like, have you ever fucking been in a bad mood and then somebody who drank a cup of coffee walked around? You just want to punch them in the fucking face. But then sometimes that's you. So I learned something. I was like, dude, you just got to let people have the moods that they get in, You just got to fucking chill, let the people have the moods that they get in, and you got to kind of stay quiet. Because here's the thing, my opener does that shit to me too. Like sometimes I'll be like, man, how come I get so upset when this happens? And I'll be like, I don't know, bro, chill. How long do we have to talk about this? And I want to fucking fire him every time. I don't know. It's like a wavelength, though. I know I talk about this, but I was thinking about this, too, in comedy. Like, all these Instagram fucking videos that the people cut together and make and think are funny is like when your ex walks in and your girl's got a bubble butt and like all those stupid as shit fucking videos. Every single one that's just zero funny. It's like fucking so bad. And then they go slow motion and it's always the fucking... It'll cut to a thing and a close up and like, and then it's like, I got the bag, I got the bag, and some girl will be shaking her butt, and it's so bad, and everybody's so like washed out, and the eyelines are all wrong, But like those people are doing what they see, what they think. Like, here's the thing: if you're funny, you're on a wavelength that funny people are on, right? Like, here's a guy who's really good at it. What's that guy's name? I always forget his name on Portlandia. Fred Armisen. That guy's just funny. He's on that wavelength. Some of my buddies are that way. Brian Callen, Andrew Santino. These guys are just on that wavelength. Bobby Lee. They're just funny. They get it. They're on that wavelength. Now, that transcends. You can be funny. It's weird because like funny is like a language, and a wavelength. But you can be funny to people who aren't on that wavelength. Now, some people who aren't on that wavelength don't get it, but some people who aren't on that wavelength, you can break through that wavelength and reach them, and they think it's funny because you're showing them what's funny. It's like a chef brings out fucking clams. And you're like, I don't like clams. He's like, well, taste these. I made them a certain way. And you're like, okay. And you taste them. And you're like, oh, I do like it. I didn't think I would, but I do. That person showed you what it's like. Right? But since that happened, since I say we like I'm on the wavelength, sakak. But like, since a funny person, if they're on that wavelength and they break through to somebody who's not funny and they think that that's funny, then they see what that is. That person who's not on that wavelength will be like, oh, that's what's funny. And so then Instagram, they have an Instagram. And they'll be like, oh, I'm going to make funny videos. I'm going to do all the things that funny people do. And then that will be funny. But that's not what's funny. What's funny is that wavelength that they are not on. And so these videos that come out that are for the lowest common denominator, which is like when your girl has a bubble butt and she gives you some cash. Going, gung, 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 gung. I got the bag, bag, bag. I got the bag, bag, bag. That is not on that wavelength. But it's for all the other people not on that wavelength that don't get that wavelength. It's for people that walk around in the funny in the universe that just aren't on that wavelength, that are literally like this when it comes to humor. I shed it. That's how they are. Now, they might be a great businessman or banker or a fucking great in fashion or whatever the fuck. Even creatively, they could be a good painter. But when it comes to humor, I leaked out some shit. I leaking out shit. That's how smart they are. They're not on that wavelength. But the lowest common denominator is the most. They're the most people. So those videos on Instagram become fucking popular as shit. And then those people get 20 million followers. I'm coming up. I want the world to know. I did a duty. Shit is leaking. That's the truth, dude. Because they think, all those people not on that wavelength, they think Bill Burr's funny. They get it. They think they get it. They think, some of them think he's, they think that, the other guys I mentioned, Brian Callen's funny, Andrew Santino, and these fucking, but they're not on that wavelength. They're tasting the clams from the chef that prepared them the way that they didn't think that they'd like them. And it turns out that they like them. And that's the realest shit I ever said, man. That's the realest shit. It's the realest shit I ever wrote.